Hello students. Okay, now today we are going on to our next lecture, which is lecture 11 on ethical issues surrounding observations. Yeah, what are ethical issues surrounding observations? Just hold on, let me share screen. So this is ethical issues surrounding observation. So what are ethical issues? Ethical issues. Ethical means the manners, moral. They're following what is accepted by ethics of observation, respecting the privacy of the person you are observing. Yeah, we have to respect the privacy of the person you are observing, because when you observe, you are actually finding out about people, why they are like that, and not like supposed to be this way. Why? So it is something very private to people. So we have to be very careful in handling this. The learning objectives will be students will be aware of policies and ethical responsibilities regarding observation of young children. Yeah, so we are talking about observation of young children. The objective is that you will know the ethical responsibilities and policies, okay, regarding observation. When you do observation, what are the policies and responsibilities as an observer? Okay, so what are policies? It is the guidelines to, now we are talking about observations, so it is a guideline to observations. Learning outcomes. When you finish the topic today, when we finish our class today, you are expected to know, to be able to demonstrate the awareness of policies. That means you are aware that when you do an observation, that there are policies for you to follow. So that means when you want to start an observation, you are asked, can I get permission? Who should I see first? Where can I do this? Policies and guidelines that you should, yeah, demonstrate awareness of policies and ethical responsibilities regarding observation of children. So that will be your learning outcome. Yeah. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to demonstrate ethical responsibilities, yeah, and policies with regards to observation. Then you know what are the responsibilities as an observer. So introduction, as in with ethics associating to other professions, such as in the fields of medicine or law. There are also the ethics and responsibilities revolving around observation and assessment of young children. Just like medicine, when you study medicine, when you go to see the doctor or any other professions, there are some ethics to follow. Okay, there are some responsibilities that you should know. Yeah, so likewise, when you observe a child, there are also some ethical responsibilities that you should know as an observer. We as observers are to follow the rules and expectations or the policies given, yeah, to respect it and should not be overlooked, right? Okay, ethics and confidentiality, yeah. Whether a teacher, a researcher, or a student of child development, one must always follow the principles of professional ethics conduct. Yeah. So whatever profession you are in, there is a ethics of conduct that we should follow. So as educators or as an early childhood educator, as a kindergarten teacher, what are the ethics that you should follow? So as an observer, what are the ethics that you should follow? Principles for early childhood assessment. Okay, now assessment, as far as assessment is concerned, there must be benefits to it. Okay. Benefit children. Okay, your assessment must benefit the children, be it directly to the children or in improving the quality of education programs, which includes teaching, instructional strategies. When after doing an assessment on the child, it should be held in after results. You got the improve and now when we do an consider okay, I think my line dropped for a bit just now. Okay, I can continue now. Okay, so where was I? Okay, assessment should be linguistically appropriate. Okay, what does it mean linguistically appropriate? How? Know what language the child understands. Okay, if you ask in a language that the child does not understand, then you start to evaluate. The evaluation may not be accurate because the child cannot understand what you say, and the child may not be responding correctly or can't even respond. So eventually your assessment may not be accurate. So we have to speak in a language that the child can understand. Emphasize on teachers, parents collaboration and use multiple sources of information. Okay. Including those from parents and teachers. Yeah, emphasize teacher parents collaboration. It is so important in a school. We need to have teacher and parents collaboration, yeah, as well as students actually. Yeah, so with this we can we can have more to help to assess this child. Yeah. Protect the child and family from intrusion of privacy or inappropriate publicity of information gathered. Okay, so now, when you do an observation on the child, okay, we do not want to let the child or the parents of the child feel that we are intruding into their business. We are intruding into their what the child is. Why is the child doing what she's doing? Why is it that the child is not behaving normally, for example? We do not want the parents to feel that way, and we do not want the child to feel that way too. So we have to be very tactful, yeah, in handling this. Protect observer and his or her employer from professional errors of judgment in relation to the children's information. Now, just now we talk about no intrusion. Yeah, don't let the children or the parents feel that we are intruding. No intrusion and no publicity. We don't simply intrude. We don't let them feel that we're intruding into what to them is very personal and private. We do not want to let them feel that way. We also do not want to simply publicize their assessment of what our findings about their child. Okay, we're not supposed to do that. Those are the ethics, because this information is confidential to the child and to the parents and to the observer. All right, to help them. As an observer, you need to be protected too, in case you say something erroneously or unintentionally. Yeah, so you need to be protected too. Okay. Legal and ethical responsibilities in assessment. Okay, know and abide by the law. All right. The court rulings pertaining to assessment and its use. Legal issues relating to assessment and its use revolve around 3 rights of individuals. Okay, legal issues, there are 3 rights. Okay, what are the 3 rights of individuals? Okay, let's look at the next slide. It says equal protection under the law. An individual should enjoy the same rights and receive the same benefits or burdens as all other citizens, unless there is a valid reason. Okay, equal protection under the law. The first one, the first right of an individual. Everyone should be protected under the same law, all right, and treated the same with the same benefits or burdens if there's any. Yeah, everyone should be treated the same. When you're doing an observation, everyone should be treated the same. All right, we follow the law and we abide by the law that is given to us. We abide by the policies that we know, okay, from the school. Okay. So after evaluation, and when treatment is given, for example, for special education needs, just and valid for that child. Okay, after evaluation, and let's say there's a treatment needed for this child because she is special. Yeah, that whatever it is, it must be just and valid to the child. Don't just because the child don't know one thing. Okay, one small part of it, you think, yeah, I think this child needs special needs. No, it's not like that. Yeah, so we have to seriously and diligently look into it to see whether this child really has a special need or not. So when you say that the child has a special need, you must be able to justify why you say that she has special needs. Yeah. Another is fair treatment. Okay, and other in the cases of special interventions needed. Yeah, give the children fair treatment. The child must have symptoms or signs of disabilities. Then you say, okay, this child needs the special needs, and give them the fair treatment. Okay, the treatment that's needed for them. Okay, to be fair, assess in the child's understood language. As mentioned just now, don't speak in one language that they do not understand. So when you want to kind of check further or communicate with them, you will not get the correct answer. And because of that, it may affect your results of your assessment or your interpretation. The observer should know the ethnic background and any unique behavior. Okay, the observer observing the child must know the child's background and any unique behavior that you are observing. Okay, whether it's there or not. Yeah. So the information that you get is used to assign a child to specific treatment. Yeah. So when you think that the child has a special need, it must be justified why you say so. Okay. You don't simply get any child and say, yeah, this child has special needs. Okay. It's not that way. To refer children who show signs of disabilities to professionals. Yeah, as I mentioned just now, if you feel that the child has a special need after your observation and after your diagnosis, then we should refer them to the professionals to get proper and appropriate help. So we always try to use the language that the child can understand, yeah, so that you can get your diagnosis more accurately. So in case if the observer does not speak the language that the child speaks, then you can get another observer, yeah, or perhaps you can get someone who understands as a third person, maybe can do interpretation or translate. All right. So as I mentioned, equal protection under the law. Similarly, one needs to be aware of the lack of the cultural or ethnic background of the children. Yeah, know their culture, know their background. Yeah, and know if any behavior displayed is a standard within the culture. Yeah, the behavior they display, is it something very unique? Yeah, it may be unique to you, but in the culture, is it normal? So you need to know all this before you draw a conclusion or before you give an interpretation or an evaluation on the assessment. The second right of the individual would be due process. As a person has the right to protest and be heard before action is taken against him or her. When nowadays young people just love to complain, they love to complain about everything that they can, every opportunity to get. Let's say if they complain about someone, okay, so before that action is taken on someone, we need to check first whether it's valid, whether is it so serious, or whether it's something that has to be address. Yeah, we have to look into that. Yeah, so the right to be heard before action is taken. Yeah, as the reason is, as I mentioned just now, we should not take it everybody say everything at a face value. We should check further to understand the complaint, whether it's a genuine complaint or not. Okay, if there's a major decision to be made, inform the parents beforehand. Yeah, after after you have decided that, oh yeah, some action should be taken against this child, for example, you have to inform the parents. All right, to be fair to the parents, if it's going to be a major thing, the parents need to be informed, to be fair, because you may miss out something where you do not know, where the parents know about this child and you complain about the child erroneously, for example. Parents must have access to all information in the official files. Okay, when you do an observation, you have a portfolio for the child. The parents must be able to access all these files. They must be able to show the parents the child's portfolio, what she has done, what she can do, and things like that. Yeah, and what is the product of the things that she has done. Okay, and how is it? And any psychological reports, yeah, any results of diagnosis should be shared with the parents. Yeah, except the certain notes you wrote for yourself, you did not show about it. But anything more than that, you should share with the parents. To provide parents with all info, okay, in the portfolio of the child. Okay, the other thing is also we need to get permission. Permission must always be sought prior to observation, just like what you did, the two observations. One is a checklist, one is a running records narrative. So did you get your permission? Yes. So you have to get permission first before you can start to observe the child. Get the permission from the parents. Also, we need to use appropriate words. Yeah, use appropriate words. Okay, need to be sensitive and aware of the parents' feelings. If you're going to say something about the child, be very tactful. Okay, do not use words that hurt the parents or hurt the child, because already allowing you to observe their child is already one step, a difficult step that is passed. So we need to be diplomatic in what we say. Okay, the right number 3 is right to privacy. Okay, how and or what can be shared with others? What can you share with others about this child? Okay, involves the individual's rights to choose, okay, whether and how to share the behaviors or the opinions, yeah, or beliefs about this child. What can be shared and what cannot be shared with other people? Does it concern the other people? Or unless if it concerns the people that has everything to do with the observation, then what you should share and what you should not share. All right. And before sharing, okay, before sharing, we should get the parents' permission with written consent. get the parents to agree with written consent, because in case the parents say yes, yes, but in the heart is no, no, when they see you and there's no black and white, then they can say, how can you share my child's information to other people without getting my permission? They can say that. Yeah, so we have to be very careful on all these very sensitive issues. School must keep a record of all those who requested for the child's observation record too. Yeah, those who requested usually are the people who are involved, who can help. All right, it's not any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay, legal and ethical responsibilities in assessment. Legal responsibilities relating to assessing and planning educational services are contained in several laws. Okay, so most laws says this. Okay, most laws say this. Tests and measures used must be non-discriminatory. Tests and measures used must be non-discriminatory and used for the purpose intended. Whatever tests you have done on this child, okay, whatever measures that you have got, okay, to measure this child's progress, for example, must not be discriminatory, yeah, and must be used for the purpose intended. Why did you first observe this child? The purpose is for me to find out what's wrong, why is she doing that, and how I can help. Okay, and administer appropriately by qualified individuals. Yeah, the purpose intended, your purpose intended to find out first what happened and why she's doing that, and after you know what is your reason, your aim is to get appropriate help. Yeah, usually it will be the professionals. All assessment practices must be free from bias. You don't be biased. Okay, you don't make your own bias assumptions or bias interpretation. Yeah, when you first observe, it is what you see and what you hear. Just write down. We are not asking for your opinion. We are not asking you to interpret. We are not asking you to evaluate first also. Just write what you see and hear. Okay, ethical responsibilities in assessment for parents. Okay, parents must be given appropriate and sufficient notification, okay, before we effect any test on the child. Okay, the parents must know first. Okay, parents can request for a re-evaluation if she's not satisfied with your evaluation, not satisfied with your findings, and he saw what is this? I don't think it's correct. Then she can ask for a re-evaluation. All right, with your first evaluation, or the parents can also request for an independent evaluation, which means something like a second opinion. I do not want to get someone, an evaluator or observer from the same group of school. All right, but I want somebody from another place, independent. Okay, getting a second opinion. Also, always use the language that the child understands. Yeah, don't use language that they cannot understand, because it's not going to get accurate diagnosis or accurate assessment. Obtain copies of the evaluation, or can also withdraw or review the records. Okay, the parents can do that. First, they can ask you to re-evaluate. They can ask for an independent evaluation. They can also withdraw it. They don't agree with your records. What are you talking about? It's not correct. That's what they feel, so they withdraw. They have the right. Okay, even though first initially they have agreed. Yeah, the right to question or be a part to the educational plan to help the child. They can question you. Why are you doing this? Why do you think you are doing this? Do you think it really helps? They can question. Okay, and they can also give their suggestion how they think can help in this plan to help the child. Okay, as I mentioned, know and abide by the school rules. Okay, the center policies. Okay, some schools, they allow one observer at a time only. Some schools may allow two at a time. Whatever it may be, as an observer, we are not supposed to be obstructive. Okay, we are not supposed to be obstructive. Okay, so we are there to help observe and to get help for this child. All right, do not initiate any conversation with the children where you are supposed to be observing. Okay, as an observer, okay, you as an observer also have the responsibilities. Okay, be fair and keep personal biases out of the process. All right, when you observe, you only record down what you see and what you heard. Okay, what you see and what you hear. We are not asking you to do interpretation straight away. We are not asking you to evaluate straight away. All right, we are not asking you to do any of that yet, but just to write down what you see and what you heard, what you see and what you hear. Okay, not even giving your opinions. Okay, observing is just to record down what you see and what you hear. Okay. Also bear in mind there are the positive behaviors of a child. They are worth observing, assessing, and not only negative one. You observe what, from beginning, your intention of observing the child, why you choose this child to observe. So you observe that. Okay, you don't only observe the bad behaviors. Okay, this behavior very bad, better start thinking about that. Okay, you don't change your rationale when you're observing. Okay, observe what is intended only. Okay. So as an observer, there must have trustworthiness in your info you gathered. All right, your information that you gathered, the observation that you recorded, there must be some trustworthiness. That means, is it correct of what you have recorded? There may be 3 areas of errors. One is omission. What omission? Okay, omission, information omitted in the process of recording. Maybe you're writing, and then you forgot. So you miss out one point, omission. All right, commission. Okay, what again here is commission? Recording data not from the observation. You write, record from the observation, then suddenly you saw something outside that you record. Okay, commission. Something extra which is not inside what you're supposed to observe. Okay, transmission. Okay, after observation, okay, you're writing down and put into record information in sequence. So when you put into record information in sequence, you may miss up. So error of transmission. All right. So this part of it, everyone should know as an observer. Okay. Now, the responsibilities of an observer in an assessment or is an observation. Okay. Use assessment information and results in inappropriate ways. What are observations intended for? As I mentioned, when you observe, what are you observing? Okay. You must know your intention of observation as an observer. Remember what's the rationale? Your intention. Yeah. Why you choose that child to observe. Okay. Points of consideration in observing. Okay, this answer. Always get permission. Permission is one of the first things that you should get before observing. Number one, you have your reason. Okay, your rationale about why are you observing this child. And of course, end of the day, you have your aim. Okay, on top of that, you need permission from the parents. Okay. And also use first name or pseudonym or flowery name or a Christian name that's not Indian, not as long as it's not their real name. All right, because some parents, we do not want their children's name to be out. Everybody knows, oh, that one is somebody's child. No, it's not nice, so we do not want that. Okay, record what you see or hear. Okay, when you are recording during the observation, you are only recording what you see and hear. You are not doing any interpretation at this point. You are not writing your opinion. You do not want to know your opinion. You just write what you see. Okay, if you say that the boy run and jump over that boy who is lying down on the floor, you just write that. You don't start giving your own opinion. I think she did that because she got so much of energy. No. Okay, you just write the boy jumped over the boy who was lying down on the floor. That's all. Record what you see. No labeling, no criticism. When you observe a child and you don't start labeling the child, my goodness, this child is so stubborn. Don't do that kind of things. Okay, don't start criticizing the child. You are only observing to find out what is wrong with the child, or why the child is doing what she's doing, and then to help the child eventually. That's your aim. So no criticisms, no labeling. Do not draw your own conclusions too early. Just watching only, yeah lah, this child is like that lah because she did this. No. All right, you are just writing down what you see and what you hear. Do not start to draw your own conclusions. Do not make your own hypothesis too early, even before the observation ends. No generalization. Okay, you don't say, yeah, the child jumped over the child that's lying down on the floor. Yeah, mostly all the children will do that. That is generalizing. Don't do generalizing. Okay, it may not be accurate. Do not play doctor. That means when you observe something, you start saying, your child, I think he is very slow in learning. There's some disability. Okay, even the doctors, even the psychologists, the professional will need time to assess, to find out, to give a diagnosis to the parents. So you don't act like doctor. You can say that I observed this. If you also observe the same thing at home, perhaps there's something that you can do is to go and find out further from the professional. That's what you should do. No sharing of information to others about the child. Okay, and no sharing the information about this child that to others that have no concern about this child at all. Yeah. All personal notes are treated as confidential. Whatever notes you have taken down about the background, the interview, yeah, a background, the child's history, or some diagnosis before this, you write down as a note. Okay, and they are considered private and confidential, where you don't simply show anyone. No discussions with others who has no concern about their child. Okay, not the parents, not even the school person in charge, not the professional, has nothing to do with the children, the child that you're observing. Do not talk about the child to anyone. Communication only with the person in charge. Okay, that means if you are taking a child from this school ABC, you only communicate with the person in charge in school ABC. Okay, or the representative that's given to you. You don't tell every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you met at the school. Okay, away from, okay, when should we talk about the child? When needed, away from the child, not in front of the child. Yeah, when talking about the child, don't talk about the child, especially you're talking about negative things. It may hurt the child without you realizing. It may hurt the parents too, but we do not want the child to know that they are like that. Then they may grow up thinking, even though when they grow up, they tend to know that they are different, but that one we will delete at that point of time. Now we are talking about do not say things in front of the child. Say good things, they improve. It will reinforce their good behaviors. If you say the bad things and they cannot, and it doesn't reinforce good behaviors, better don't. Yeah, because sometimes it's not the child do not want to change or do not want to follow instructions. It is just beyond their ability, beyond their control. Okay, to do what is right, even though they know, even though they can tell you sometimes, but they cannot control themselves. Be diplomatic, be tactful when you talk. Be sensitive to the child or the parent's feelings. Don't tell the child, why you always do that? Told you so many times, you see. Yeah, sometimes as human beings, we tend to say that. So especially when we're doing an observation, this is a no-no. We don't do that, yeah? Okay, so in conclusion, that's all I mentioned just now. And we have to be diplomatic, yeah, consider the child's feelings and the parents' feelings, yeah. It is very, very crucial. As parents, it is so difficult to accept that their child needs special help. So in conclusion, okay, observation helps in positive learning and development. After doing the observation, why? We have a rationale, right? So the rationale is to find out what's happened to that child and then to help eventually, to help the child in learning and their developments. Okay, when protecting the child, always abide by the guidelines and policies, okay, or the ethics. Okay, children also need to, the child that you're observing also need to be protected. Okay, so we abide by the guidelines given to us from that school. All right. Okay. Also, that we need to get permission from before sharing any information. Okay, we need to get permission before sharing any information to a next person, like the professional, even though they're professionals. You don't simply share people's personal information to anyone, especially an observation. Okay, an observation is done with intended purpose. So what is your intended purpose? After observing, what are you going to do? Once you get your assessment done, what you get evaluation and interpretation, how can you help this child in the curriculum, in the learning program and their development. So uh, this is the other issues about surrounding observations. Okay, so thank you. Let me stop share screen.